What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Muffins with Morgan. As always, I have the Muffins on deck, ready to go. And answering your questions, we'll be here for an hour as I normally go throughout this. And you all know the drill. If you've been here before, drop in where are you tuning in from? I'm born and raised from Atlanta, Georgia. I went to the University of Georgia, so I'm a Georgia boy. But you guys know the drill here. Drop where you are tuning in from. Again, we're here to answer some questions. So we're gonna let the stream kick up here, and then we're gonna dive right into it. So, there's this week has been tough. I don't know about you all, but this week has been extremely tough. There is a lot of things that are going on right now. There's a lot of things on people's minds. But at the end of the day, we got to keep going. Shout out to my guy, Shane. Man, I got to keep going regardless of what's happening and keep up the positive vibes. But, we got some people coming in here. So, Shay, shout out to Salt Lake City. We got Austin in the house. Galem, always representing from London. We love it. Jenna. Oh, Jenna, what's going on? I haven't talked to you in a while. Hope everything's going good. We got Brian from New York, man. Hope everything's been good since the workshop. I want to come back to New York so soon, man. Hopefully we can connect. I love that city. Jeff, what's going on, man? Thanks for always supporting. Austin from Toronto. I love Toronto, man. I can't wait to go back to Toronto, man. These cities are like, I want to go so bad. Brooklyn, shout out to Brooklyn. My best friend used to live in Brooklyn. Bolivia. I need to go to Bolivia. Wara, hit me up. We got to get myself to Bolivia. That sounds like a lot of fun. Okay, cool. We got Gerald. What, Gerald? Get out of here, dog. The Blake Bortles is sales. No, man. That means that I'm terrible. Don't put me out there like that. Unless we're in fantasy. Now, if you're playing fantasy football, Blake Bortles is a GOAT. But if we're not playing fantasy football, I'm taking that as a direct shot, and we're going to have an offline conversation. Shout out to Germany. Shout out to Pittsburgh. Shout out to Santa Monica. Brittany loves Santa Monica, by the way. Joey, shout out to Orlando. So, Joey, question for you. Are you an Orlando Magic fan? Let me know, because that'd be awesome. And then we got Phoenix in the house. Jeff, I love Phoenix. Hope you're enjoying that weather down there. Shout out to Naperville, Illinois on that Toronto. Clinton, hey man, I gotta give people the real. You know who I am. I gotta let people know when they gotta know. So, and I appreciate you, man. All right, cool. So we got everybody in here, and so we are now going to start into it in the questions. So if you guys haven't been here before, this is the Muffins with Morgan, where you drop in your questions and then I answer them for an hour. So, hey, Wes is back from the UK. What's going on? So I got 2 questions that people already sent me, and I'm going to dive right into it. And then again, when you have your questions, let me know, and we're going to go into it. So the first question I got was, Morgan, what should I do if I'm looking to get a promotion? What should I do if I'm looking to get a promotion? So I thought that was a great question. So my answer to that question, I don't know if some of you guys in here are looking for promotion. If you are looking for a promotion, please put a 1 for me. Put a 1 for me if you're looking for a promotion. But what you should be doing is documenting your journey in the current role that you're in. So let's talk about sales roles. So let's talk about SDRs, right? We'll see if some SDRs here in the chat and help you out. Maybe you're trying to get promoted to an AE or customer success or a manager. What you should be doing is going and looking at, okay, how many deals have I sourced for the organization? What was the dollar amount of those deals? And then how many of those deals have closed? Also, look at your numbers that you've consistently hit month after month as well. And document how that's compared to the other people that are on your team. And then as you are moving towards that promotion in your role, ask your direct manager, what are the 3 things that you are currently struggling with that I can help with? And then write those 3 things down and accomplish them. And then go to your boss's boss, whether that's a VP of sales or whatever that is, and then ask them, what are the 3 things that they're struggling with and how can you help? And then that way you can take on projects and initiatives that may be top of mind, and then you as an SDR can help. Same thing goes for an AE. The way that you get promoted is they tap you on the shoulder and you don't tap them on the shoulder. Listen, that's really key what I just said there. Like, take that in. Take notes on this one. So, Amber, you'd be surprised, by the way, how many people don't want a promotion. They like the spot that they're in. They want to stay in a job for 10, 15 years. Amber, again, you're laughing at it, but a lot of people aren't looking for a promotion. They want to stay in that same position. So there are people out there like that. Don't get it twisted. So let's go back to what I was saying. If you're looking to get that promotion, document it, and you should be looking at people tapping you on the shoulder and not you tapping them on the shoulder. Because you've documented your process, and then you can display that to the other people in the organization. So when I got pulled up as SDR manager, it was a tap on the shoulder. My CMO pulled me over and he's like, "Why aren't you the SDR manager?" And I said, "That's a great question." And a couple weeks later, I was the SDR manager. So because I was documenting the process and all the executives were seeing that. So the only way to get promoted is to accomplish what the other priorities that other executives have that you can do in that role. Okay, so if you're looking for promotion, document your process, ask questions to other people so you can provide them with the answers. Okay, so make sure that you're doing that, because if you're just waiting for the promotion, you're waiting for the tap on the shoulder, you could have the same numbers as someone, but if you're being proactive, they're going to remember the proactive person. And I did this all the time in college, all right? I always went to the teacher hours. You know why I always went to the teacher hours? Because they were willing to give me extra credit, extra answers. Even if someone has studied the same time as me, I always got the extra edge because I spent time with the teacher. So make sure as an SDR, you're spending time with your leaders. As an AE, you're spending time with your leaders. As an SDR team lead, you're spending time with your leaders, understanding what they're trying to accomplish and how can you make their job less stressful. And that's how you get a promotion. All right. So that's it right there. So another question that I got, and yeah, guys, keep the questions flowing in. I'm going to get to them, was what should you do right now if you're an intern? So LinkedIn asked me to do a video on this. And this is my advice for anyone who's an intern, or maybe you got furloughed or let go and you're looking for something new. What I would suggest is start sampling things. So what I mean by that is, you all been to the mall before, right? So when you go in the mall, you got people handing you samples. Ice cream, right? They got food in there, the Chinese food. You guys know what I'm talking about. When you're in the mall and you try out the samples, you're like, where am I going to eat in the food court? So that's what you should be doing as an intern, or if you've recently been let go. Sample what you like. When I graduated from college, I decided I wanted to be a public speaker. My parents were like, "You're crazy. You double majored in finance and sports management and you want to go be a public speaker? What are you talking about?" I said, "Hey, look, this is what I need to do right now. I need to go be a public speaker. I just feel like this is what I need to go out and start executing on." So I did that, and it led to the SDR Chronicles. It led to John finding me on the YouTube, and it led to me training teams globally on prospecting. So right now as an intern, sample things that you want to try out. Maybe you want to go create that YouTube channel. Maybe you want to go be a dancer. Maybe you want to start a blog. Maybe you do want to go into sales, right? These are things that I would highly suggest you to do right now as an intern. Sample so that you can figure out what you're doing. And then we have someone here, try before you buy. That's exactly what you need to be doing. So those are 2 questions that I got. But as always, I'm going to get to all of your questions and we're going to dive into it. So it says LinkedIn user on my end, so I don't know exactly who's asking this question, but it says, "Hey, Morgan, what's your insight on negotiation tactics with prospects when you're at the end of the sales process, second or third meeting and proposal review?" So there's a lot of things I definitely can say here. First and foremost, your negotiation is going to be predicated on your discovery. If your discovery is off, your negotiation will be off. Let's go back. All right, we got nuggets here, right? If your discovery is off, your negotiation is going to be off. So first and foremost, make sure that that's tight. And as I'm looking at this question, you're saying, what do you do at the end of the sales process? When I'm negotiating, I'm at the end of the sales process. I take all the clues that I found in my discovery process to then lead to the close. So shout out to my guy Rob Jepson on this one. He says to dollarize the deal. So what that means is, hey, if they're looking to make this decision, how much is the decision going to cost them if they don't make it? So a high level example is, if your solution is $50,000, right? But you're solving a $50 million problem, that's a lot easier to negotiate. And if you've uncovered that. If you haven't uncovered that, then you're just presenting $50,000 that they're just looking to spend. But if you uncover that they're looking to spend, if they're looking to cover a $50 million problem and you're charging $50,000, that's a pretty no-brainer decision that they need to invest. So when it comes to negotiation tactics at the end of the day, it's making people feel comfortable in the decision that they're making, because you want to have them have an understanding that this is helping them solve their problem. The biggest competitor that we all face as sales reps is the status quo. And so if you don't uncover why they should get away from the status quo, then you're not going to be able to negotiate effectively. So that's my answer without knowing exactly what's happening in the deal. But your discovery has to be on point to make sure that it's accurate. So then you're negotiating to what they told you. So then all it is mirroring and labeling, just like Chris Voss says. So definitely study mirroring and labeling from Chris Voss. Make sure your discovery is tight. Use the information that they gave you and dollarize the deal is my answer to that question. It's a good question there. All right, cool. So I like this question right here from Wara. I'm hoping I'm saying your name right here. And again, shout out to everyone that's here. And if you want to just help out, likes and share this out if you're getting some knowledge here. Again, we want everyone to make sure that they're getting all their questions answered. So the question here is, how would you go about starting a career in sales if your experience is in a completely different field and all the jobs want 2 to 5 years of sales experience? I faced the same thing. So when I first started as an SDR, I had no sales experience. I had no job experience. I had no SaaS experience. I didn't know how Salesforce worked. And I never made a cold call in my life. And they still took me. Now, why did they take me? Why did they take me over the people that had more sales experience than me? It's because I was willing to do the things that no one else was willing to do. And let me walk you all through that. So, Wara, we're going to get you a job in sales today, right? Whether it's an SDR or an AE role, I would encourage you probably to start off in a SaaS SDR role to get into an AE role. But if you go about it this way, this will be helpful for you. First and foremost, what field are you from? That would be good right there if we understood what field you're from. But that'd be super helpful. But I would say, to answer this question directly, as everyone's here, is understanding how to get someone's attention. So I want you all to think about this. I call it rip the resume. Why am I calling it rip the resume? It's because stop thinking about your resume and spam canning it to every single company. There are 200, 300, 400 applicants that have filled out the same resume, and they're all in a pile, and those hiring managers are not going to go through every single one. And if they do, it's going to be a light skim at best. So what should you do to stand out? Treat getting the sales job like a sales process. So how does the sales process work? So let's take a step back there. First and foremost, prospecting. Prospect the role that you're trying to get, and that will gain so much respect to anyone that is looking to hire you. So if I were in your shoes, I would go figure out, okay, how do I talk to this hiring manager? Normally who you're looking to reach out to might be someone in enablement, might be the VP of sales, might be the director of sales. If you're trying to be an SDR here, again, we don't know the exact role, right? Maybe you're trying to go and be an SDR, so let's go talk to a director of sales development. So what I would encourage you to do here is make a cold call or send a video to the hiring manager and talk about how your experience in petroleum engineering, which sounds extremely impressive, and I probably would fail immediately in that field. So shout out to you for doing that. I talk about how your experience in petroleum engineering could relate to sales. Think about that. How many people are coming from petroleum engineering degrees to sales? Not a lot of people. So you can talk about your experience and talk about how it translates to sales, cold call, video. And the thing is, go to the careers page. Wara. And when you go there, click on the job. And then in that, it says job responsibilities. It's going to tell you every single thing that is expected of this person when they join the organization in that role. So what you then could do is take that information and call someone, video them, and talk about how you can cover those responsibilities and how you're a good candidate. I would be shocked. Anybody in here that's a hiring manager, let me know if I'm spot on here or if I'm missing something. But I would be shocked if a hiring manager wouldn't be like, I need to talk to this person. Forget the application process. Forget the recruiter. I want to directly talk to this person right now. And that's what happened to me. I made that cold call and I was already in the interview process. No resume needed because I made a cold call to the VP of sales and told them why I should at least be considered for this role. And so once you then get in the role, or get in the interview, then you have to prepare it like a sales conversation, like a discovery call. Have your questions at the end. The number one mistake that I saw as a hiring manager and hiring over 100 or interviewed over 100 SDRs is what I realized is no one had questions at the end. When I said, hey, do you have any questions? Say, nope. I'm like, nope, that's not a person I'm probably going to hire. Because if you don't have questions at the end, that means you're not going to ask the right questions in the cold call. You might not even ask the right questions in discovery in this organization. So come prepared with questions. Now, here's a couple questions, Wara, that you can do once you get into this interview. One at the end is, hey, based on what you've heard so far, are there any hesitations on why you wouldn't hire me? That question I asked a lot in my interviews, because if they hesitated, that means there's hesitations, and then I can further figure out what's the hesitation, so that if I get to the second interview, I can clear that up, or we can clear it right there. So, hey, based on our conversation today, do you have any hesitations on why I should not be chosen for this role? Direct. But in sales, let's be direct. I want to understand the feedback. Number two is put it in their shoes. Based on what you've heard today, what do you believe is the biggest strength that I can bring to your team? Because I want to hear that. If they hesitate again, that means I didn't bring it on that interview. But if they can immediately say it, that means I have a great chance here moving forward. And then number three that I would ask in my interview is, hey, based on what's going on here today, what's the number one thing you would suggest someone once they get hired to do so they can be successful? That's key, because now I'm proactively telling you, hey, look, I'm assuming that we've had a great interview, and let's say I do work here. What's the number one thing I need to do so day one, I can be a great resource for you and you made the right decision in hiring me? So those are three questions right there, Wara. Don't know if you wrote them down or not, but there will be a replay on this to write down and do. And that's how you get success. So once you get through those interviews, right, you maybe get to a culture interview, act yourself, and then that's how you get a job in sales. So that's the play-by-play of how to get a job in sales if you're coming from a different industry and if you have no experience at all. And that's coming from someone who had zero experience, was an SDR, went to an SDR manager, now training teams on prospecting, came from absolutely nothing and was able to make something out of it with no experience. So that's just coming from someone who's been through it just like you. So I'm hoping that's helpful. You got to make sure you have those questions at the end. Yo, I give some shout outs to some people real quick before we go to the next question. Shout out to Larry. Shout out to Mike Simmons is in here. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Calvin, as always, man. Love seeing you guys in here. And Brittany, shout out to the Make It Happen podcast. That's my guy, John Barrows. I'm going to put it right there for you guys. If you're not watching the Make It Happen podcast, you should hop on it. And again, I appreciate all the love here. Again, share this out so we can get everyone's questions rolling. So let's see here. Who is next? I'm scrolling through. Yo, shout out to Brian. Do you have daily metrics that you go by? Number of calls, number of emails. So, Brian, for me, it's a lot different right now because I'm a full sales cycle rep who trains and still building brands, still putting out content, right? So my number of calls and dials is probably not going to be the same as you. This is how you figure out how many calls and dials that you need to make. I don't have the silver bullet or the magic formula on this. I don't, because that would mean that I could stop doing everything and I would be on an island and all my friends would be there and we have a great time. But I don't have that, Brian. So what I would say is, how many meetings are you looking to schedule per month? Reverse engineer that. And how many accounts do you reach out per month? Then how many people are you reaching out to per month? And then how many touches do you make to those people per day? That is how you determine your daily metrics of calls and emails. Everything on when you're like, hey, what do I do day by day? Reverse engineer that. That's how you figure out that number. I can't tell you what it is. And I don't know what your goals are too, Brian, because for me, I was doing 80 to 100 calls as an SDR every single day. And I was sending out maybe 100 to 200 emails per day that were tier 2s and tier 1s. And I was doing 50 social activities every single day. But my goals were extremely high. I wanted to be the number one SDR every single month. And I wanted to hit 180, 200% of quota. I was heavily aggressive, Brian. So my goals you may be like, Morgan, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm just trying to hit my quota, man. So my answer is going to be different because my goals are different. So Brian, look at your goals, look at your completed meetings and reverse engineer that. And that will give you number of calls and number of emails. What I would suggest is double that of what you think it is, and then do that the first 2 weeks so that you can schedule the meetings you need to by the last of the third week. So then your last week in your month is purely focused on strategizing for the next month. So you're not stressed out like most SDRs are when they're trying to hit quota. So hopefully that helps you out there, Brian. And let me know if you have any further questions as well. Okay, who else we got here? So we got a lot of people in here. Yo, shout out to all you guys. Appreciate the love. All right, so we got a question by Billy. One of the personas I prospect are managers. How would you cold call a company asking to speak to the manager? LinkedIn, Zoom, website do not have any info on who's the manager. So Billy, this is where real recognizes real. Game recognizes game. When you can't find someone's information, and I'm looking at right here, LinkedIn, Zoom, website, I'm going to give you a couple other things to consider. Have you reached out to another rep in that organization to get the person's number you're looking to get to? Let's go back on that one. Now, this one's real. This is for everybody here. So if you cannot find a number, have you considered talking to a rep, sales rep in that organization to be like, hey, sales rep, I'm looking to connect with Marissa and I can't seem to get in contact with her. By any chance, can you tell me what's the best way to reach out to her? Do you have a phone number? Do you have an email? Is it LinkedIn? And then they're going to tell you, yeah, man, I understand the game is tough. Here's a suggestion of how you should reach out to that person. Phone, email, social, whatever that is. Billy, that's it right there. Again, I can give you some other platforms here. Lusha, Lusha. That's a way that you can find some phone numbers there. However, I would just suggest reach out to the sales rep. They know what it is. They'll help you. And I did that a lot as an SDR, and I still do it today when I can't find a number. I'll just reach out to that sales rep at the end of the day. And then that's what I would do. So I'm hoping that is helpful on what you should be doing there, because you definitely be missing out. All right, cool. What else we got on? Hey, appreciate the love in here, man. I really do appreciate you guys. This week has been extremely hard for me from a personal and emotional standpoint. So the fact that you all are here supporting me on Saturday, I really do appreciate it. Like this week has been really, really, really tough for me. So I appreciate you guys asking these questions and hopping on. All right, so let's see. Who else we got here? Again, I'm going to make sure I get all you all's questions. I think I got, okay, shout out to Adrian from YouTube here. Been an SDR for a year, and I saw that in there, sales development rep, and I feel stuck. If I leave, I start over. If I stay, it could be 6 months before I get promoted. What should I do? Man, this is a tough question right here. So I would ask, so 6 months, I'm assuming, is when you get promoted. What I would suggest is don't leave, because if you're going to start over, especially now in this current climate, you're most likely going to spend another year or 2 years as an SDR. So don't leave. what I would do is find new ways to look at this role. I was about 5 months into my role, and I felt like it was getting monotonous for me. I was making calls, emails, and I was consistently hitting quota, like three months in a row, number one performer. I was doing great. What I realized though is it was getting boring to me. I knew what objectives were coming. I knew what was working, and I was like, "What the heck?" So what I decided to do is break the pattern. So this is for anyone right now. If you're feeling bored or you feel like what you're doing is monotonous, you're like, I'm not really a fan of this, break the pattern. So what breaking the pattern means is doing something that you normally don't do to make prospecting fun for you again. The reason I suggest to you all to make videos, do memes, do GIFs and GIFs, send direct mail, do all the crazy stuff that you see me post about is because I'm always trying to make prospecting fun. I don't ever want to make it boring for me. I want to be excited about what I do and loving the process instead of loving the outcome. The issue here is that you are too in love with the outcome. I'm just being real with you because I've been there. You're too in love with the process of getting promoted, but not in love with or you're in love with the outcome of getting promoted, but you're not in love with the process of getting promoted. About doing something different, doing something unique. That's the miss here. So, Adris, what I would suggest you to do is pick up some new techniques. Start making videos. Start thinking about a new subject line that works. Lowercase subject line. One question emails. Hit me up, man. I got a notebook. I got a notebook of ideas, man. So I got you, but you have to seek out help to go execute that. And that is 100% on you. So what I would suggest you do, man, is for these next 6 months, stay in that role and get promoted. I guarantee you're going to be extremely proud of yourself because you stuck with it. But if you leave, you're going to end up doing the same thing over again, and you're going to be on a hamster wheel. And I'm trying to look out for you, man. So what I would do here is go find people that can go help you. Go find people that can give you suggestions. Go ask for other reps on what they're doing to success. And then ask your manager, hey, what are some projects you can give me right now? Your boss's boss. What are some projects you can give me to right now that you don't feel like doing? And break your pattern, man. And I guarantee you're going to feel a lot better. So that was a fantastic question, and I'm hoping that he takes that advice. All right, so let's see here. Let's see. Hey, man, I appreciate all the love in here, man. I really do. So, again, I'm looking right now for – man, I'm trying to find these questions, guys. Shout out to Mike. These are designs, components of sales. Engineers solve problems. Sales folks connect the dots between problem and solution. The work you've done applies. Great thing back on the comment I made earlier. Let's see. I'm looking at the questions. Yo, shout out to Chris. Hey, shout out to Chris, man. It's good seeing you on that Zoom the other day. It's good seeing you here. Shout out to Ryan. I'm giving some shout outs here before I go on the next question. Shout out to Ryan here. We got shout out to NASA. I'm hoping I'm saying that. But let's see. I would definitely share a little bit of the personal journey. I definitely will go into that. Shout out to Calvin. Yeah, man. Prospecting. Make it fun. Like I had a tweet on that. Like make prospecting fun. Like don't treat this as something that's monotonous. Like make this fun. I guarantee you're gonna have a lot more exciting things to talk about. All right, let me get to the questions here. So Juan, what would you do after a great first interaction over the phone, send email with info and calendar invite? They send my product looks date, then they decline my calendar invite. What would you do next? Juan, so let's take a step back. So everyone here in the comments, all right, guys, if you can hear me, in the comments, put a 2. Put a 2 if you struggle with your show rate. That means people aren't showing up. They say, hey, I'd love to show up, and then they decline. So put that in me for me while I eat this muffin. All right, guys. So I'm looking at this question, Juan. Hopefully you're still in here. Give me a quick shout out, making sure you're still here because I know that question was a while ago. But what I would say is when you get someone to agree on the call and then you hang up and send them a calendar invite, you missed a crucial step. Is getting them to accept the invite while they're on the cold call. This, I guarantee you, will increase your show rate. Now, Is this going to be 100%? No. But I guarantee you it will increase your show rate. So if you follow this advice, man, you got a lot more people showing up to your meetings. So this is what you do. When someone says, yes, I want to take a meeting with you, and it's a great interaction, like you said, send the calendar invite while you're on the phone and say, hey, let's say it's Sally, right? Hey, Sally, does next Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time work for you? And they're going to be like, yes. I'm like, hey, real quick, before you hang up the phone, I'm going to send you a calendar invite right now. Can you please accept that before we get out of here? And then as you set up the calendar invite, this is what's key. As you set up the calendar invite, like, hey, I know I'm about to send you this calendar invite, but real quick, I want to make sure that this conversation next week for you values your time. Can I ask you a couple questions to make sure that we're both prepared on both parties so this is impactful for you? And Sally's going to say yes. Ask Sally those 2 questions or 3 questions in your back pocket. You know what those are. You know what the AE is going to ask you, right? And if you're an AE doing your own prospecting, you know what you need to ask anyways. Ask those questions. Send the calendar invite. Get the calendar invite accepted on the call. And guess what that does? From a psychology standpoint, you already got them in what we call the yes state. So once they accept that right there, and you've also got them to answer questions, there's more emotional buy-in for them to show up to your call. And that one little tip that I just gave you, Juan, will fundamentally change the show rates that you currently have. And anyone else that is struggling right now, that is what you should be doing. You have to be doing it live on the phone. And that's for everybody. SDR, AE, I don't care what role you're in. If you're scheduling a meeting, do it live on the phone and get that calendar invite right there. Because if you don't accept the calendar invite, you miss something. If they accept it, you're spot on. And then make sure, Juan, you do this as well. Send an agenda before the call. This is what we're going to cover. Because again, executives are busy. There's a lot of stuff going on. Like even myself, when someone's like, hey, let's connect next week, I might forget why we're connecting. I'm gonna hop on the call and be like, hey, why are we here? I'm just being real with you guys. There's so much that's going on, especially right now. So make sure that you send an agenda before the call so they're prepared. So Juan, that's my advice for you there, man. Like, please let me know how that works because it's been super successful for me. Shout out to Sean. Yeah, you know what it is, man. On the call, you got to get them right there. That was a huge thing for me across the board. All right, cool. Shout out to Jen. Yeah, this week has just been super tough. I'm hoping it gets better. But, I have a great support system, great girlfriend, great family, great close friends. So, it's you got to get through it. I mean, Chris, man, at the end of the day, like I'll talk about it. Like what happened is that my girlfriend's grandma died. And so that was really emotional for me. And also my girlfriend is long distance. She lives in Vancouver and we haven't seen each other in 4 months. So I can't be there to comfort her. I can't be there to talk to her and I can only FaceTime her. And then you all see what everything's going right now with the Black community. That's heavily unfortunate. And that's been weighing on me. I'm very sad about that. And then I live in Atlanta and 10 minutes down the street, I can see all the things that are happening because I live downtown. And like, I understand everyone's frustrations, but it's just sad. And so that just takes an emotional toll on you. And when it takes an emotional toll on you, you just have to continuously push through. And that's why I continuously show up every single day. I'm always going to remain positive. I'm always going to give you everything that I have to this community, no matter what happens. And I made that promise to myself when I graduated college. I was like, if I'm going to go be a public speaker, if I'm going to go be a motivator, if I'm going to go give people tactical advice, like I'm always going to show up no matter what's happening because, we're not superhumans out here. But, if I can get through it, it's going to inspire someone else to get through what they're going through right now. And that's why I always keep showing up no matter what happens, no matter if there's adversity, no matter if there's problems, no matter if I fail, no matter if I make continuous mistakes that I do on a daily basis. All I know is to keep going and keep dialing. And keep dialing doesn't mean just making dials. It means just to keep going. That's why I came up with keep dialing in the first place. It has nothing to do with cold calls. It has to do with just to keep going no matter what happens. And I don't care what happens. I'm always going to keep going and I will always show up. And I will promise you all that at the end of the day. Whoever's been following me since day one, If this is a newcomer in here, just I guarantee you I will continuously be here and I will continuously show up and I will continuously be a shining light no matter what happens. And so that's like my take right now, and that's just my attitude. And so that's what's been going on with me, Chris. But again, it's been weighing on me, but I'm gonna keep moving. And that's just part of what I do. And I'm always gonna stay to that. All right, everybody. So let's see. I know I got some questions I got to go back to. Hey, let's go to the island lands of Little St. James. Everyone off the island. Oh, I'm live right now. All right, cool. Ryan, so how do you handle a call with the prospect that had a negative experience with your product in the past? So, Ryan, this is where you have to lead with tactical empathy. And I'm gonna assume that this is a cold call. If it's a client call, you can dive a lot deeper into this. And what I would say is that how I handle a prospect that has a negative experience is I asked them and said, what led to this negative experience? And how long ago was this? So think about it, right? If they had a negative experience 3 years ago, hey, maybe that person in the organization you had a negative experience with isn't here. Or maybe we've updated the product. Or so maybe something happened. Our leadership has changed. So Ryan, this is as simple as just asking them, hey, I completely understand. In the past, I've had products and certain services that I've been very negative on. Just help me understand here what happened and how long ago was it, and let's talk through it. So maybe then you can get an understanding of how your organization can be positioning themselves better and what they can be doing to be impactful throughout the marketplace. So Ryan, this is just as simple as asking those two questions. What happened that led to your negative experience, and when did that happen? Those two questions will get you a lot of understanding across the board. Because normally what happens is people just go into pitch mode. Sorry you had a negative experience, but here's all the new upgrades we have. It's like, yo, you don't even care about my negative experience. So it's going back to mirroring with Chris Voss. What happened with your negative experience, right? I'm mirroring that because there's clearly something there. And then I got to figure out, when did that happen? And then go from there. But also just leave with empathy, just saying, hey, look, I've dealt with people that I didn't like, and I've dealt with organizations I didn't like. And you can empathize there. That's not fake. That's real. And that's how you're going to get the real answer. All right. Let's see. Man, I appreciate everybody in the comments, man. I love y'all too. I just got to share my emotions of where I'm at right now. But, I always appreciate you guys. So let's get this shared out. Let's keep this rolling. I'm fired up this morning. I'm feeling like we got a lot of great questions in here. Okay, I'm trying to see if I missed something. I did. Mike asked a question. Mike, I'm coming back to you. Sorry, man. I'm trying to go through these comments here. So, Mike, as soon as you're running, I'm going to answer your question. So, how can we have feedback loops between AEs, SDRs, and marketing? So, the best way to go about this, everybody, is to, and Ryan, I know you saw a cold call. Let me know if that helped answer your question there. And then I would say that in terms of AEs, SDRs, and marketing, the best way to go about the feedback loop is making sure that you have SDRs that have AE mentors, and then that you're having weekly meetings with sales and marketing. Everyone's like, hey, how do you help sales and marketing alignment? It's like asking, how do you get better relationship? You over communicate. That's really what it is at the end of the day. And I don't understand that. Like, over communicate. I remember when I was an SDR, we had a good relationship with our marketing team because I met with them every single week on, hey, this is what we're doing and this we should go about it. We all know in marketing, though, that they should be tracked by revenue. And that's the biggest miss, because think about it, right? If your marketing department's not tracked by revenue, that means that their end result isn't predicated to your end result. So if they're measured on something completely different than you are, that's what leads to disalignment. So you need to make sure that you're aligned on the same metrics and end result at the end of the day. And so the feedback loop here, the best way to go about it is creating an environment of SDRs to AEs. There is a rule. There was a rules of engagement. So it was the ROE, rules of engagement. We created that as an SDR org and the AE org. We came together. We agreed that this was the rules of engagement. So if any SDR or AE had a complaint, we're like, okay, cool, Sally, cool, Bobby. I hear you, but this is what the rules of engagement are saying right now. You can't be doing that. Okay, so your meeting is now disqualified. And AE means account executive, which means a salesperson. For someone in the chat, I put that. But that means that you were disqualified. You're not following the rules of engagement, right? So how do you have better feedback loops? SDR, AE. If an AE has a problem, the AE goes to the manager. If the SDR has a problem, they go to the SDR manager. The AE and the SDR manager come together to create the feedback loop so there isn't, oh, well, I don't like this AE because they didn't accept my ops. So now I'm not going to give that to the AE and I'm going to give it to Marissa over here. We don't need that in organizations. Have the SDR talk to the SDR manager. Have the AE talk to their AE manager. Have the leaders talk to each other so they can go communicate. Otherwise, you're in a really bad spot. So that's how you create feedback loops, rules of engagement. If you don't have those in your orgs, do it now. And then marketing, you got to understand what's happening there. So that's what I'd be doing. So Mike, hopefully I answered your question. I know you had to hop off. It was good seeing you in here, man. Always great to talk to you. So Brian, this is interesting. This question you brought up. What kind of items do you send to prospects in direct mail with this current environment? It's tough because a lot of people aren't going to accept the direct mail. So what I would suggest is there might be some people from Sendoso in here, or from PFL or et cetera. But I talk to a lot of people about handwritten notes, and even people are averse to that if they don't know you. So what I would suggest is to do digital mail. So a Starbucks card, an Uber Eats, whatever that is, that's something that I would consider. So I would say do some digital type of item that you send directly to that person. That's my thoughts on that. And then if anyone, you see this question right here on direct mail, if anybody in the comments wants to talk about direct mail that's been helpful for them in this current environment that may be different than mine's, by all means, please put it in the chat. I'm not saying I'm the end all be all in these answers, but that's something you can go do. All right, guys, let's see what else we got here. Yo, shout out to Calvin for dropping this in here. Clearbit, Hunter, Apollo for phone numbers as well. I wanted to shout that back out. So thanks so much, Colin, for putting that in there. I would say, so Larry asked a great question. What's the top characteristics you found in the top lead gen or full sales cycle AEs? So this is going back to prospecting across the board. So we're going to make sure we can get in that. Let's see. All right, again, appreciate all the questions that are flowing in. We'll make sure to get to them. So the top lead gen people, one thing that they do really well is their ability to adjust. Right now in the marketplace, cold calling is not as strong as it used to be. Someone in here can disagree with me. That's fine, but the data proves otherwise. So that means if you're a great cold caller, you have to make an adjustment. Most people are going to just say, oh, well, cold calling doesn't work anymore. So, it is what it is. I guess I shouldn't prospect. That's a terrible mindset. What you should be focused on is cold calling doesn't work anymore. What should I adjust to go do? I've been yelling this from the rooftops. Maybe it's time to make some videos. Maybe it's time to do some LinkedIn prospecting. Maybe it's time to do some personalized emails. The best lead gen people, the best prospectors, the best people who are full sales cycle and building their own pipeline, take the time to adjust accordingly. And when they are able to adjust accordingly, that means that they're able to do new techniques and new ways to reach out to those individuals. So that's number one. Number two is they are continuously seeking feedback, not only from their managers and leadership, they're also seeking feedback from their clients on how they should reach out to them. So if you're a full sales cycle AE, you have the opportunity to go talk to your clients and be like, hey, what's the best way for me to reach out to you? Does this messaging work? Should I change it up? I have talked to my own clients and I show them my prospecting messaging to be like, would this be relevant to someone in your position? Do you hear this from your peers? That's what the top reps are doing. They're asking their clients, what do you want to see? I think a lot of times as sales reps, we try to figure out what the formula is for ourselves instead of asking the people that we're reaching out to, what would they like to see? Makes sense. Number three is that you're organized. If you're a full sales cycle AE, if you're a top lead gen person, you're heavily organized. You know, okay, in the first 30 minutes of my day, this is what I need to go do. In the first hour of my day, this is what I need to go do. I'll tell you all right now. So SDRs on the call, I'd pay attention to this. And even if you're a full sales cycle AE, you can obviously tune in as well on this. But this is for my SDRs. An organized schedule leads to organized results. A sporadic schedule leads to sporadic results. Let me say that one more time, all right? So you take notes on this. Like, listen, this is key. An organized schedule leads to organized results. A sporadic schedule leads to sporadic results. So that means you need to know what you're doing. I'm going to tell you my schedule as an SDR right now. When I was doing the role, 7 to 8:50, I got in the office around 6:45. We got in super early. We were the early morning crew. There was 4 of us. So shout out to my boy Jim. Shout out to my boy Ryan. We came in early, right? And also shout out to my boy Latella, who would come in early with us too sometimes. But that's what we did. We came in early. We were prepared. 7 to 8:50, scheduling out emails through SalesLoft, researching our accounts, cleaning the data. 8:50 meeting. That was 10 minutes. We had a daily check-in. 9 to 10:30, I'm making cold calls. That's where we saw the most success, so that's what we would do. Next, 10:30 to 11, double touch. What does that mean? That means that I'm double touching back on people that said reach out in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, etc. Then what did I do after that? 11 o'clock to 11:30 was a break. Y'all, you got to take your breaks. You can't just be working 24/7. And I'm even telling myself that at the end of the day. Next thing is 11:30 to 12 was personalizing those emails to your tier 1 accounts. 12 to 1, I'm eating lunch. 1 to 2, I'm calling to West Coast and Mountain, etc., right? Central time. Then 2 to 3, I'm doing prospecting to find new accounts I want to go after. I was a green rep, so that means that we could go after anybody. Greenfield rep. You can do whatever you want. Some of you guys may have territories, so maybe you want to switch that slot. 2 to 3. 3 o'clock was a break. 3:30 to 4:30 calls. 4:30 was social listening, which means going on LinkedIn, going on Twitter, finding ways I can reach out. If you don't know your schedule, like I just said that right now, that's not going to help you be a top lead gen, and you're definitely not going to be good at the full sales cycle AE on the prospecting side, right? We're talking about the prospecting side. Those 3 things, if you do those 3 things, you're going to be set. You're going to be set. So I encourage you all to do those things. Larry, was that helpful in answering your questions? And if anyone wants to add any more insights to those 3 things I added, please do. But that's what I'm saying right there. Hey, shout out to my guy, Jordan Lucas. We've been playing some Halo lately. If you guys want to catch us on Halo, hit us up. We're in the Halo game. I adjusted my settings today, Jordan, and I played a couple games this morning. I was feeling it this morning, man. I was feeling it again. So it's good seeing you in here. Let's put hi the stream. Yep, sending out books. That's a good one, right? Books that you've read, books that are relevant to your space. That is a really good thought. I would say thoughts on cold calling on the weekend. I would stay away from it, Ryan. I don't know. I've never done it before. So I'm not going to tell you to go do something that I haven't done myself. I've never done it, and I would personally stay away from it, especially right now. So that's my take. If anybody's different, you let me know. Tia, I think I'm saying your name right. I sold an account-based marketing platform. I worked at a company called Terminus. I was an SDR, also was an SDR manager, and also was doing a lot of the enablement and helping with the sales at that time. So that's what I did before. I was there for 2 years. And then I was creating a lot of content throughout my journey as an SDR. It's called the SDR Chronicles. Most people in here know me from that. That's how I got on most people's radar. And that YouTube channel is still out there. You can see how terrible my videos were in the beginning. So you can laugh at me. It's all right. I'm cool with it. But that's how I started out. Brian, so what's my opinion on text? All right, this is key, Brian. My opinion on text is I would encourage you all not to do it from a cold perspective. However, I have worked with clients that have seen it successful for when they're reaching out to business owners. They're reaching out to people that were gym owners, spa owners, etc. They found text to be extremely beneficial. However, that's the only industry I've seen it to be successful. Unless someone else wants to comment on that, I'm completely fine with it. But that's what I've seen. So I would say no in terms of cold outbound texting. What I would say is once you have had the meeting, this is important. Ask this question at your end of every discovery call, and this will allow you to text with some of your clients and close more deals, because I've done it myself. So I'm like, hey, what's the best way to communicate with you moving forward? Is it text, LinkedIn, email, or calling you? So let me go over that one more time. So I'm going to maybe taking notes out here. So ask this question after every single discovery call. What's the best way to communicate with you moving forward? Is it text? Is it phone? Is it LinkedIn? Or is it email? By asking that question, what it's going to end up doing is they're going to tell you one of those options, because I gave them options, right? They may be like, oh yeah, Brian, text me. And now you can text them. So that's my advice on that one. All right, let's see. John, you missed my point. Let me know if I need to go over that again. We have someone said, absolutely, Morgan. Video has blown it out the water for us. Still takes a ton of time, but filling up my pipeline. I love it. Yep, Calvin's right. Definitely do that there. Sunday night emails, LinkedIn Connects have been key for weekend activity engagement. So shout out to Jordan for that nugget there. I definitely agree with that. Shout out to Larry on that one. So let's see. I got a couple questions. Let's see. We got Brian. Sean said, hey, you gotta sell a new product to sell. Let's see. We got a lot of people here. I was working, Brian, answer your question directly. I was working remote pre-COVID, and I'm definitely working way more. And my tip is to have a schedule, be organized. That's what's helped me be successful from working from home. The tip that I tell others that I normally don't do great at is taking a break, taking a walk, taking a step back, having a cutoff time. I would suggest that. In terms of my tips and tricks for remote work, there's a ton out there. What I would just say is have a morning routine. Be organized throughout your day. Like, that's really what it comes down to, is being disciplined and knowing how to go about it. So that's really what I would say. Let's see. We got a lot of good questions here. Now, I appreciate you guys hopping in here. Let's keep it sharing. Let's keep the likes flowing. Let's keep the vibes going here. All right, let's see. I'm trying to see if I didn't miss anything from a couple questions back, because I know a lot of people dropped some stuff in here, but I think I have everything here. We got handling negotiation. All right, cool. When do you show the agenda? 24 hours before? Okay, I send the agenda. So I missed that question there. I send the agenda the day before, so 24 hours. So they know that I'm coming prepared to the meeting tomorrow. And then most people respond to that email, which is great. And they'll add in certain stuff to be like, oh, cool, here's my agenda. Like, this is what I want to talk to you about. So expectations are set, and then you're good to go. So that's what I do before that. Brian, hopefully those COVID tips help. Let me know if you want me to go deeper. But I think there's so many posts on remote working at this point. I don't want to beat a dead horse, Okay, so Jared's asking if you could layer in new readings to one sales training to level up on all parts of the funnel. What types of readings or learnings would you add? What are you currently reading to level up everything you know and train? This is a really good question here. So what I would say, Jared, is I am on Masterclass. I truly believe that Chris Voss's Masterclass was one of the best things that I have personally ever gone through. So if you haven't done that, I encourage you to go check it out. Chris Voss Masterclass. I'm probably going to watch it again. I've watched it once already, and it's helped me level up. I've scheduled more meetings, and I've closed more business, which is what we all care about, right? Another thing is I was on Masterclass is a whole source, right? But another thing I watched was The Art of Performance by Usher. It's helped me do better at my virtual trainings. It's helped me better do at these live streams as well. By watching that, it's helped me talk to the audience and be able to articulate my points better than I would. And another thing that I would suggest in the masterclass is Samuel L. Jackson's Art of Acting. So I believe that acting is something that we should pay attention to as sales professionals so that we can understand how to articulate our points, add emotion to things that we have. Because think about it, right? When you go in an organization, they give you a script, they give you a formula. But in order to truly bring that out, you have to add your personality and your style to it. And that's what actors get paid to do. Anyone can get paid to read a script. That's not hard. Actors get paid to add emotion to that script so that we keep going and watching those movies. So if you're a sales rep, you should probably be paying attention to actors so you can add your emotion in your sales script or your sales formula and your questions that you ask to close more business. So masterclass, that's what I would suggest. Another thing that I pay attention to is Tom Bilyeu. So Tom Bilyeu, Impact Theory. Fantastic interviews. He's one of the best interviewers that I've ever seen. And he dives into the core of people's stories. And that's what I'm learning. And then another person that I follow, you already know who this is going to be. Shout out to my guy, Gary Vaynerchuk. He has a show called Tea with Gary V. He's killing it. And he's answering great questions. And he's got a lot of tactical advice in there that I love. You know, obviously, I'm aligned with John Barrows, so I'm always going to tell you all to go follow John, go follow James Buckley, right? You guys know I'm going to say that. But in terms of books, do I have it on me right now? No, I don't. So question-based selling, I've been hyping it up on every single live that I've been on here. Question-based selling, you guys know to dive into that. I also would suggest another book that I'm reading. It's The Magic Words That You Want to Use. It's a short read. It's 100 pages, but it talks about the magic words you could put in your sales process and in business to see success. So, Jared, those are the things I'm doing right now to level up. And then obviously going to other events like Thursday Night Sales. Shout out to my people, Scott Leese, Amy Vallis, Justin Welsh. They're doing their thing too. So I gave you all a lot of resources, but there are a lot of people in here as well that I would recommend you to connect with too. Like Larry Long's in here. You know, my guy, Jordan Lucas is in here. You know, we got John's in here, Calvin's in here. Like, connect with other people too. Like, don't just look at, oh man, these are the top of the top people. Like, there are people that are in the field who know just as much, if not more, than the people who are continuously putting out content. Just to be real with you, right? Like, there are people behind the scenes that are doing great things. So those are things that I would put out there as well. Hey, Larry, let's go. Kayla, I don't know. I don't know if they want me on Masterclass yet. I think I gotta do a little bit more before they invite me on a Masterclass. I'm hoping I can be there one day. That would be fantastic. I love the platform and I love everyone on there. I would love to be a part of that prestige that it is of Masterclass. But maybe one day, Kayla. That's what we can strive for. Jared did. That was a great question, though. I like that question. You sent a question to my LinkedIn message. I can go check it out real quick. Let's pull that up. Cool. I think if you sent the message, I gotta see where it's from. I'm looking at it right now. But we got a lot of questions still flowing in here. Jeremy, answer your question. I'm gonna get to the other question. These are all recorded. They're on YouTube, and so you can go check it out on the SDR Chronicles to go see the entire replay and then go back and forth. We're working to make sure that we can have these as small clips to see maybe things that you missed. And then obviously we'll have a breakdown of it as well as we're moving forward to. And then we're going to look to add people on the show moving forward as well. But again, thanks for that question. Tanner, what's going on, man? Hope you're enjoying this Saturday, the Muffins with Morgan. I'm eating my muffin while I find where the next question's at because I don't know. I was looking at it and I just lost it. So give me a second, guys. Okay, cool. I like this question. So this conversation is so much more confident and better whenever I have a scheduled call, since I know they have a lot of time for the conversation. However, I don't feel as confident pitching in the first call. How do you keep your morale up after a bad call? So this is how I keep my morale up. Leaders, I would suggest to you all to use this. We called it, Brittany, it's called, I know I get too hyped sometimes and people are like, what the heck did you say, Morgan? Question-based selling. Question-based selling. Brittany, if you want the exact book, hit me up on LinkedIn in the messenger after the live stream. I'll send you a link to the book and you can go check it out. So let's go back. Hey, thanks for putting that in the comments for me. So what you do after a bad call is you have to see the call as not bad. And let me tell you how you can do that. So what we did on my team is we created something called the Bulldoze Award. You guys are going to love this one. We called it the Bulldoze Award. And so what we did is every time that you got bulldozed, you were then put into a ranking system. Okay. You get put into a ranking system of who got bulldozed the hardest at the end of the week. And so, as everybody was getting all these bad bulldozing, getting hung up the phone and having bad calls, we started to celebrate that. And not celebrate it as in like we wanted bad calls, but celebrating the fact because we treat it as something funny. See, in life, everything's about perspective. You can see it as a bad thing or a good thing. And so what we did is we just changed the narrative. We were like, every time there's a bad call in the beginning, we said, okay, you're now getting put into the bulldoze rankings. And so at the end of the week, we would listen to all the calls that were bad or they got bulldozed, and we would all just laugh about it. And then we picked the person who got bulldozed the most, and we bought a bulldoze toy on Amazon. And then the rep would then have a bulldoze on their desk because they won the award for that week. And we loved it, and we kept it going as a team, and it made us closer together. And also it made no one feel ashamed or bad of having a terrible call, because we all knew that this role is incredibly difficult. It is not easy. So we decided, let's create an environment where we can all enjoy each other's company, understand the struggles and the adversity that we handle so that we can move forward in confidence. So that's how we handled it. And then last but not least, take a walk, man. Like when you have a bad call, just take a walk. I think a lot of people miss out on that. Just get away from it. Because if you have that feeling, it's not going to be good to the client when you have a good call and then you have those negative feelings. So hope that was helpful there. Let me know if you have any more insights. And Emmanuel, shout out to Emmanuel here, coming the first time. Shout out to our first timers, to the Muffins with Morgan here on Saturday. Appreciate you liking the flow, man. And then let's see. We got other questions here. John, hey, man, I just always got the energy, man. It's something I've been blessed with. You know, thank God for it. So let's see. I know I missed some questions way back here. Okay, we got that question. We also have, okay, how do you make the most impact in an introduction Zoom call? Great question. I'm assuming that this is a discovery call or even a conversation. So the best way to pull this out, shout out to my guy, Danny Reed, for this one. He had a whole post on it. So if you want a deeper dive on it, follow my guy, Danny Reed. He's great. I think if someone wants to drop his link in there, maybe DANNYREAD. That guy's great. He dropped a great post on this. And what he talked about is show that you've done your research so people will open up to you and it'll be a more impactful call. So for example, if I got Bobby on the call, I'll show up and be like, hey, Bobby, before we hop on the call, I did a research real quick, and I just want to make sure this is all accurate. So I saw that you are in this industry. I saw that you target these personas. I see that you have these case studies on your website. I see that you're connected with these people, and this is your past experience. And this, based on your role, this is what you cover. Am I accurate or is this off? So what does that do? Most sellers just hop right into, all right, here we go. Let's hop into the call. Get an understanding and show them that you've done some research. I say, this is your website. This is your personas. This is your industry. This is what you're doing right now. All these things will help you at the end of the day to make sure that you have a better conversation moving forward. And then once that has been answered, R3, I'm believing I'm saying your name right. And then after that's answered, then I say, hey, before we hop into this conversation, I ask you a couple questions. What are you looking to learn? Here's the language, actually. What exactly are you looking to learn here on this call today so I can make sure it is impactful as possible? So now they give me what they're looking for. It's their words. And now I talk directly to that answer. So R3, hopefully that was helpful there. And you got some insights. All right, everybody, let's keep it flowing. Let's keep the like shares going. We got some even more questions in here. So I want to make sure I get to everybody. How many videos that are templated versus personalized? Brian, I don't like the templated videos unless they're with handling an objection. I haven't seen a lot of success with them at the end of the day, to be completely honest with you. So I normally lean to more of the personalized videos than the templated ones. So I would say that I would lean more on the personalized videos. I don't have a data set on the templatized ones because we ended up throwing that out at the end of the day. I just went over the details on the discovery call. But I can go over what I guess sent before. I think that's what you're asking there. So I'm going to make sure that we're good. All right, everybody. So let's keep this flowing. I'm looking at all the comments here, making sure that we're good. All right. So I'm looking at the comments, making sure that we're good. So I'll make sure everyone's flowing. All right. Well, I think what else we're missing here is, in terms of minutes invested, what are you seeing as the most effective cold outreach channel for setting meetings? LinkedIn. But that's for me, right? Let's take a step back there. That's for me. Again, if I'm looking at everything here, because I think we have a couple people that are dropping in some questions, and I'm making sure that we're good. Which on my end, it looks like I'm not even getting those questions, which is weird. But I would say that on your question you asked here, just making sure that you know what's working the best for you based on your data. So you can always reverse engineer and look at your data. So what I've seen across the board is look at what's working and then execute on that. But according to what I've seen, LinkedIn videos, LinkedIn voice messages are getting a high response right now. So definitely check that out. All right. I think I've gone through everybody. 3 tips for prospecting. How do you make in terms of minutes invested? Okay, we got that. I think the agenda. Normally, okay, let me go to the agenda one. I think this is the last question here. And then if anyone has any more, let me know. So on the agenda for discovery call, normally it's just the 3 things. So it's one is what is the current situation in your organization and how does sales training currently apply? Reviewing where your team is at currently, objectives and goals. And then 3 is next steps. That's really the agenda I send over. Nothing crazy at the end of the day, but then getting them the understanding of what's going on as well. All right. So I think we're good across the board. For some reason, I can't see on my end some comments, but I think we're good. So, all right, guys. Answer a good amount of questions here. Does anyone else have anything they want to ask? Again, I'm looking to the left because I got my screen over here. So again, there may be something that I miss and I want to make sure that I cover. But any other questions anybody wants to drop in here? Again, I'm here answering questions right now. But again, I'm looking on the side. All right. Since it's not showing up on my chat, I see the question from David. How long are your voice messages typically? So in terms of a voice message, this is a formula, 10, 30, 10. Okay, 10, 30, 10. At the end of the day, the first 10 seconds is focused on me getting your attention, right? So that could be a trigger I found on the website. That's a priority or challenge that you have as a persona, right? So in the first 10 seconds, I would acknowledge that so then I can have a conversation with you. So, first 10 seconds. I want that person to be lean in and be like, tell me more, right? 30 seconds is the value prop or the attention grabber. That's essentially the elevator pitch that you would have if you were making a cold call or what you would put in the body of your email for someone to engage with you. Then what you can do as well is the call to action. The call to action at the end of the day is asking someone to open to learning more, or are they interested in a deeper dialogue? Those are called collaborative call to actions. Or what you could do is ask for time as well, but we found that the collaborative call to actions are better. So 10, 30, 10. First 10 seconds, trigger or reason or problem of to be in front of that. 30 seconds is the value prop or the attention grabber, and the last 10 seconds is the call to action. So 10, 30, 10 is how I go about those voice messages. So David, I see your comment here. I'm hoping that helped. For some reason, I don't see it in the chat anymore, so we're just flowing out. We're keeping it flowing. All right, so let's see. We got a lot of people still pouring in. All right, let's see here. All right, so Brian, shout out to Brian, MVP, coming in with the comments, coming with the chat. I love it. So I'm looking at your question now. After someone connects with you on LinkedIn, what is the initial message that you send to them? Is it a LinkedIn voicemail? And how fast do you send that message to immediately connect? So this is the formula, everybody. Here's the playbook. And I said it, I think, on the last stream, but I'll say it again for everybody here. 1, connect with them. Now you're connected. Now wait 2 days. So that'd be 2 days, right? Day 3. So day 1, day 3. Then you send the LinkedIn voice message. Then once that's done, I wait to day 5. So I wait 2 more days to then send a follow up, and I'll explain why I do this and why it works. But day 5 is a follow up. So all I'm saying there is, let's say I was talking to, we got people in here like Sally, right? So hi Sally, any feedback on my voice message? So that's all I say, like, hi Sally, any feedback on my voice message, and that's it. So then once I say that at the end of the day, what that does is when people ask, people always want feedback and they always want you to engage with them, etc. So then once now I have that there, then now you're good to go. And so by able to do that, I now get the appropriate feedback. They're either going to give me an answer and say, I want to schedule a meeting, or it's a neutral, which is like, hey, maybe I'm not really interested or what at the end of the day, but reach out to me in 2 months. Or negative would be, I'm not interested at all. Don't talk to me. Cool. But the thing is, by waiting those 2 days, you're not seeing as a person who just connects and pitches like day 1, day 1. It's like day 1, day 3, day 5, and spreading it out across the board. So then you can allocate that message, so then you can get a response. So Brian, that's what I would do there. Most important data points to highlight on a sales resume, Brittany, I would say at the end of the day is, it's obviously if you've hit your metrics, right? But really what I would say to point out on a resume is, what are the things that you did in that role that were outside of what you were asked to do? Because people are always looking for people that do things out of what they're asked and tasked with. So I read a book called The Law of Success. It's by Napoleon Hill. It's better than the Think and Go Rich. I personally believe that. So, we can have a fight on that if we want to. I don't really care. Law of Success, I think, is fundamentally better just based on how it's written. And one of the things it talks about is the habit of doing more. When you do more, then you receive more. And so, Brittany, one thing to pay attention to on your sales resume is add additional things that can stand out that were outside of the realm of what you were normally asked to do and tasked with as an AE. Now, as I'm saying this, if anyone has anything they would say differently as a hiring manager, please put that in the comments here, because we definitely want to hear from you. But that's what I would definitely say right there. All right, so we got some people flowing here. Let's see. I'm looking at the... Yep. Emmanuel, I found that the 50 seconds is appropriate, but I use the 10-30-10 because, it's a formula that you can abide by, but also you can look at normally 45 to 50 seconds is what you're looking for. We've had clients do 30 seconds and 35 seconds to see success. I'm not discrediting that, but the 45 to 50 seconds is what will help. And then John, hey, shout out to my guy, John in here, man. Love that you're hopping on. Do you ever see the video on the LinkedIn DM? Absolutely. As you all can probably tell, I can translate better on video than probably written or even audio. So I'm a huge fan of video, and it allows me to really bring out my personality and my tone and my confidence in the way that I articulate my points. It's a lot harder for me to do that via the written word. And so that's what I definitely would say at the end of the day, because you can definitely do things that matter, right? Which is sending a video, because it's going to stand out. And I encourage you all to think about that, right? Everyone is sitting at home, right? And they're just looking for people to talk to. And again, things are opening up, but I just would suggest to create a video just so you can connect with more people there. So that's my take. All right, so I'm looking, and I'm asking these 2 last questions, and then I'm going to hop everybody. So then, I can get on to the next thing. So we got 2 questions here. One from Brian, who's an all-star of the day. What are the things that you think will change in sales post COVID-19? It's a very heavy question, man. What I think is going to change is that you can't just go through the motions. Sales has been a profession where people can go through the motions and maybe even get away with it because of the fact that of the market, right? But now, where people are holding budgets tighter, it's a lot harder to close, it's a lot harder to get meetings. You have to know what you're talking about. And Jared's question about skilling up is more important now than ever. So if you're not taking the time to skill up, if you're not just taking the time to learn, reach out to other people and get their insights, you're not going to be in a good spot. So what I would suggest for you to do is think about how can you work from home, because a lot of organizations are going to just ask you to work from home, right? And they're not going to go back to the office, right? What also to consider as well is the fact that you got to be looking at other things in the future, such as how do I skill myself up right now to prospect and close? It's not just going to be either or. It's going to, how do I know how to do both? Now, you may be better in one area than the other, but you got to understand the skill sets of both and the language of both. 3, what's going to end up happening is there'll be, I think, less inbound reps, SDRs. There'll be more SDRs that will be more specialized and will be asked to do a little bit more. And AEs will move more to a sales SMB role. So a lot of SDRs are going to get promoted. Won't just be an AE and have to be supported by an SDR. You're going to have to support yourself so that you can build that skill of prospecting and earn your stripes to be an AE that gets meetings from your SDR, but you'll still respect it. So then you're going to prospect still. And what I also would say is you're going to have to be very mindful of the questions you ask. I think question-based selling, I guess I've been hyping it up, but my boy Jordan Lucas gave it to me. But the thing is that what's going to change this environment is you can't just go through the motions and just show a product. You got to be able to ask the right questions, understand how to really care about the customer so you can close. And all those may seem, oh man, that's what a lot of other people are saying, but that's in reality, that's what's really going to happen here is like really understanding how to ask the right questions and close. It's not going to be you just show up and people are just going to be like, oh, cool, I want to buy this, because everyone's going to be sacred about their money. So in sales, it definitely will be changing, but it'll be changing to exactly what it should have been in the first place, in my honest opinion, which is caring about the customer, asking the right questions, doing the right due diligence, doing the right follow-ups, and be proficient in your craft, and always growing 1% every single day. And a last question I'll answer here, and if anyone has any other questions, hit me up on LinkedIn. And what are your thoughts on sending LinkedIn messages on weekends? I've heard both sides stating success and being against it. I think it depends on your personas. Anna, at the end of the day, what I would suggest is I sent videos on the weekend, and those have been fine. No one's gotten me on that. So I think if you send a video, I think your chance of success will be higher than just sending like a blind connect and then just sending a templated message. I think that's going to annoy anybody, especially on the weekend. But I found I send videos on the weekends to people, and that's fine. It depends on what you're doing, right? If you're prospecting, maybe think twice about it. But I've sent videos on the weekend to people that are in my network, and we have conversations. I sent one to John Stern. I don't know if he's still in here, but I sent one to him, and we were chopping it up about a couple stuff. So absolutely, definitely send LinkedIn videos on the weekend. I don't know about messages on prospecting someone you just met. I did stay away from that. So, all right, everybody, we got an hour here, like I always say. And man, we got so many good comments. Love everything that's going on. So shout out to, hey, Ryan, what's up, man? Shout out to you, man. Hope everything's been good. And yeah, I think the SR role is going to get way more segmented. You're going to see enterprise, mid-market, and also SMB. You're going to see verticalization, just like Salesforce does it. I think it's going to be super granular. I'm seeing all the comments here. Emmanuel, thank you so much, man, for hopping on. Cheers to you. And then Brian, hopefully you got some insights. And then R3, again, I hope I'm saying that right. Hope you have a great rest of your day. And Anna, I hope I helped answer your question. So, hey, guys, I'm doing this every single Saturday, 11 a.m. I was a little bit late today. Again, I was dealing with some stuff, but we're good. You guys know I'm going to be here every Saturday, 11 a.m. Put it on your calendars so that we can get it going. If you want a calendar reminder on this, let me know, or put this in the comments for people who watch the replay here, because I'm trying to find a way to get everyone notified, because some people messaged me this morning like, hey, where you at? So I'm going to do it every single Saturday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. However, if you want a reminder on it, let me know. Maybe I can create something for this where you get a reminder so that you know it's happening, and this can be easier for everyone to come to. Again, we will be evolving the show, and any feedback you have for me directly, please hit me up. Be like, hey, Morgan, you should try this. I'm open to everything to make this as valuable for you all here on the Sunday or Saturday. I'm losing my mind. Saturday, so you can get everything going. So as I always say, guys, keep dialing. I'll see you all soon. And then again, every Saturday, 11 a.m., we're going to be here, Muffins with Morgan, answering questions and then getting the most out of our day. And let's keep it rolling. Let's stay positive. Even with everything going on, let's continuously be a shining light in this community. So thank you all for your time. Talk to you soon.